Welcome to part 2 of the test series on discovered attack. We start with the position from the game between Popil Marco. It's black to play and win. And you can see this position is very similar to the example we had seen from the game between Trufinovic and Manuel Aaron. Here, white was not expecting the black bishop to move because the rook on d7 has no protection, but black has his queen in a beautiful position. She is lined up on h2, and therefore black had no hesitation in bringing out a discovered attack with bishop to g1. This puts the queen on d3 under fire, as well a mate threat on h2. So mate can only be averted by giving up the queen. Here, like black tried queen into d7, but then it is queen into h2 check and mate. In this position, had he tried in this to play king into g1, then he loses queen, not sufficient, and white resigned in this position. Next in this topic, it is white to play. And here we see white is a piece down, black has got an extra bishop, but here through a discovered attack he is able to bring about the balance in this position. Seeing that the queen of black on c3 is unprotected, white had no hesitation in playing rook captures e6. He wins back the bishop. Not only that, now he threatens to capture the rook on e8, which is attacked twice, and also at the same time queen on c3. So here black put up his best defense. He played queen into f6. Now white should be careful. Before recovering his queen, he needs to have an intermediate check. So here he plays rook to c1 check, and only after king to b8 he captures the queen. One needs to not make haste. For example, in this position, after we had seen this move here, rook into let us go back, like queen into f6. If at all like white had tried rook into f6, immediately he would be losing the rook on e1. That's why very important for white in this position first to play an intermediate check. When black had played queen into f6, he should first play rook c1, get his rook on e1 out of attack, and only after when king has moved away from the check should he go ahead with capturing the queen. Now this brings the balance, and what do we see now? That both sides have got 2 rooks each. As regards pawn, white has 4 and black has 3 pawns. But here now we see lot of threat. First of all, white is threatening rook captures f7. Then next he can will be in a position to bring both his rooks on the 7th rank with rook c7, and we also see a beautiful outside passer connected pawns on the g and h file. This decided the game in favor of white as black resigned. We now move on to the next example, which is very similar to the one we had seen in part 1, where white brought about a discovered attack by creating a checkmate threat. So this position is very much similar to that one, but here white started with a wonderful sacrifice. Rook captures g7 check. He wins the pawn, also now threatens to capture the knight on d7, which is pinned if at all black does not capture. So king into g7 is only forcing move, and of course if he can try king f8, it is mate in 1. Why did not even capture something? It's simply mate. So to rook into g7, black needs to play king into g7, and what now white does is he moves his queen to g3 and takes up her position in the line of her counterpart, the queen on c7, the unprotected queen. And now what are the options available to black? He can move his queen either to f6, h6, f8 or h8. Moving queen to h7 is not a good option. Say for example in this position, if he tries moving his queen to h7, there follows queen to g6 check, king h8 is the only move, and knight f7 forces check and mate. So here black tried king to f6, and now we can see the stage is set for a discovered attack. White only needs to move his knight out of the way. This he does with ng4 check, and after f captures g4, he goes queen up, queen captures c7. Our next in the series is from the game between Wexler and Bazab with black to play. And here now black played a stunning rook d1. And what do we see? Like putting everything in prize, this rook on d1 can be captured by rook as well, queen on f3. Bishop on h3 can also be captured by queen on f3. And finally queen on c6 can be captured by the white queen on f3. But this all leads to disaster, as you know, like for example queen into c6 allows rook into f1 mate. Let us have a look at other alternative. What if he plays rook into d1? Well, in that case black wins the queen. Not only that, he will mate on g2. And finally, what about queen into h3? Well, in that case mate comes with like rook e1, queen f1 only move, rook into f1, king into f1 and queen into h1. Black has cleaned up everything. Mate will follow shortly. So this was a beautiful example showing how to bring about a discovered attack. Moving on, here it is white to play and something very similar. Only thing is like here it's a dark color bishop on d4, whereas the king is standing on a light color. So bishop does not come with what we say a tempo gaining move. But here like if white is able to drag the black king to the dark color, then discovered attack can come. So the idea is easy to judge. Rook h8 check forces king onto the dark color, and now it's easy discovered attack. Bishop moves out of the way with a check, bishop captures g7, and after king captures g7, queen into d5, and we see material imbalance. White enjoys superiority. It is queen versus rook, and we also see two extra pawns for white, and that is why black resigned. The final position in part 2 of the test series is from the game between Keres and Gligorich with white to play, and this is also something similar of bringing about a mating attack on g7 square and then creating a discovered attack on the queen on d7. So like here and here. Now only difference here is that black has a good defender, the bishop on f8. So the idea came with a sacrifice, rook captures g7. This forces bishop into g7. And now queen takes up her position in line of the black queen on d7, threatening checkmate in 1. Black needs to defend the checkmate threat. He moves his rook to g6 and at the same time attacks the white queen, but that is insufficient. Now the knight moves out of the way with knight h6 check, and after bishop captures h6, queen captures d7, we see white winning the game comfortably. So I hope you have understood all the 6 positions of part 2 on discovered attack. Will stop here for now, and I will be back with part 3 on the test series, the final part on the discovered attack. Bye for now.